Hello, friends, and welcome into the TexAgs Rewind. It's grape time for the sipping red wine. From Cavs to Malbecs, the Big Bordeaux sale is now on at Specs. Cheers to savings. All right, let's chit-chat a little bit. Nick Savage
Yeah, I
is
got a
here.
question.
Wait. I want to say hi to the
Sorry.
Reese Nygren's here. Hey.
Howdy.
Okay, now, question.
I got a question for both of you. We were debating about this in the back.
Oh, God.
Are esports an actual sport?
No.
Doesn't qualify as a sport.
Nope.
It's a competition. It's not a sport.
Okay, I'm on y'all's page.
not.
Jess
Okay.
back there
Just-
thinks esports are comparable to motorsports and basically calling it on the same level. She's a big gamer.
No.
That's
I
that's
think-
wrong.
Terrible take.
Here's I'm gonna answer it. I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but if you can do it with no legs, it's not a sport.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm just making a point.
Wow.
It's a fact. If you can do it without legs, it's not a sport. For all those without, you can do certain sports without legs, but never mind. What's on the rewind? Do you even know?
yeah, everyone.
Everyone's on the rewind.
Let's
Jason
go.
Howell.
Made
Jason
the
Howell.
rewind. Oh.
Caroline Fenton
Fenton, she was great.
and Trevor Knight, of course.
Trevor Knight.
Kate's favorite.
All right. So if you have no legs, you can still watch this video. Ballpark a week from today. Maybe we'll be there. I think last year, day one, was it open to us? I don't remember if it was, but it'll be open next week to us, and we'll get to see this version of Texas A&M.
Begin to take shape.
Yep.
I'm really excited for this version. I know that Aggies, and I understand it. I've got a, tell me if you agree, I sense that there's a little more apprehension among the general Aggie population than there typically is regarding this season. Because let's face it, A&M has cried wolf one too many times.
Yeah.
And yet, I think hopefully it'll pick up steam. It usually does, because I wouldn't predict any championships or anything like that, but I think this team has something.
I hope they have something. And I think back to your point, I forget if I brought it up with you yesterday or on my own. I'm part of that issue, okay? Because I am apprehensive because of history.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said yesterday, history is not the future, right? Whatever happened under Fran, under Jimbo, under Summy should not affect the way I look at Coach Elko. Unfortunately, it kind of does at times. But the reality is, if I believed in him a year ago, and we've outlined all the reasons why the bottom fell out last year, well, that doesn't necessarily mean it has to happen every year that way.
No, in fact, I think A&M's a much better team last year if they just had better luck with injuries.
Yeah. But that's who unfortunately, that's been part of the narrative
right.
the last 5 years.
Played within the last 10 years, as you pointed out. So you're gonna get a check if you you're gonna share in that $1 billion or whatever they're gonna pay to the. So you
Has
thought
anybody
about
reached out
that?
to you?
What are you gonna do with that?
I've got my estimated payout, and unfortunately, I may cover a couple of Chipotle bowls a year with what I'm getting. But it's cool. I think you're not going to be able to go back to everybody, and I slid in there right at the end, so I got a semester worth of credit on that whole deal, and I'm not going to turn it away, but certainly not the opportunity that some of these guys playing today have, right?
Trev, what about John Mateer in Oklahoma this year? They're one of these teams that everybody keeps talking about, like they could be the surprise of the SEC. Do you see that being the case? And what do you think about the quarterback position?
I think you could fall on both sides of the fence. As a fan, I look and I'm like, man, we got some pieces of the puzzle, and it could be exciting, right? But at the end of the day, you also got to look at the history of first-time quarterback in not necessarily a new system, but at a new school and back against the wall and kind of all the different outside factors. And it doesn't lead to high probability of crazy success. So am I saying that they're not going to have a good year? No, I'm not saying that. It could be a fantastic year. I just think there's a lot to overcome. I think John is great. He's a proven guy. It reminds me, in a lot of ways of Dylan Gabriel when he came to Oklahoma, a guy that's played ball, that's going to step in, that knows the system and could be a really, really kind of solid figure for that offense. So
Hotline. That's where we find the Jason Howell, killer in an hour with Howell. I almost said it wrong. What's up, brother?
Same old stuff. Just trying to track down these kids, where they're going, who's doing what, figure out what A&M's doing. You know, same old summer everyday stuff.
So let me start off with this. A couple of weeks ago, things felt really good. Things felt pretty good. Yesterday or the day before, whenever it was, a couple of days ago. How do we feel overall right now in this place and time where A&M is, and also other programs starting to get momentum?
You still got to feel really good about what A&M has done. I think the success that Texas A&M has had over the course of this recruiting cycle stands alone. It stacks up with what anybody else is doing. It's going to be one of the top recruiting classes in the country. If you would have gone into the summer months and said A&M is going to have a top 4 to 8 recruiting class in the country and a top 3 to 4 recruiting class in the SEC, you have to feel good about that. And I think A&M's on target for that spot, if not higher. So they've done phenomenal, hitting their need positions. They've hit the state of Texas. They've gone national, and they're going into the season with a few openings left in their class, a few, spots they may want to shore up, but overall they can focus on the football season, the 2027 recruiting cycle, and getting things going on there. And
it's interesting because the reason why I think it feels different is because I don't really know how to feel. I feel like in so many years past, Texas A&M was that team that it was like an ex-boyfriend that I just kept going back to. Like, they gave me no reason to like him. He gave me no reason to believe in him. Yet every single time I would go back to him. And Texas A&M, at least in the last couple of years under Jimbo Fisher, I would say, okay, I know that they were not even bowl eligible last year, but I think this year is the year. I think this year is the year. This year, though, going into year 2 under Mike Elko, it feels like there is so much more stability. It feels like there's more competence happening in that program to where I don't want to get too high or too low. I want to say, let's let Mike Elko figure things out. They lost Shamar Turner. They lost Shamar Store. They lost Nick Scorton on the defensive side of the ball. Let's see what Mike Elko can do with all of these transfer portal additions. Let's see what Marcel Reed looks like in year 2. Let's see this run game develop, but also let's see how he develops as a passer. It feels different for me this year with Texas A&M because I'm not picking them to win the SEC or to be represented in Atlanta. It feels different because I am allowing myself to step back and say, let's see how all of these pieces kind of fall in line, because it does feel like the foundation in College Station is much stronger than it was over the last few years.
All right, Nick, you can tell the people what to do.
Like, comment, subscribe, and oh wow, we're going solo shot here. Like, comment, subscribe.
Going
I look
tighter.
awful. No, I'm done. See you next time.